presence of industrial experts should exist to learn knowledge and in a variety of ways. Before I begin, I would like to welcome our special guest for the day, Chef Irfan Malek. Chef Irfan graduated from UiTM Dungun in 2007 and has expanded his expertise in nearly 3 countries. He is currently traveling around the Arab countries in contribution in the gastronomical world over there. As you can see, he is currently posted as the culinary director in Vacuria Hospitality, where they provide restaurant concept, menu development, consultation, and catering services, consulting in multiple restaurants under them, including Chica El Gurna, Barton, La Pancha, and Luma. Welcome, and how are you, Chef? Thank you for accepting our invitation as a guest speaker. Chef, can you hear me? Right, so as you know, we'll be teaching on salad and salad dressings today. So our chef, who is right now in Egypt, has many expertise in this, especially coming from an Arab country. Hi, chef, how are you?
Hi, good morning. Assalamualaikum.
Welcome, salam. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So shall we start our session right now?
Okay.
So, since the Arab countries are well known for their salads, how do you think the concept of salad has evolved over time, from simple grains with basic dressings to more complex and creative combinations?
Well, the salad has evolved throughout the cultures. To be honest, like it's always have the blend of flavors such as spices, the vinegar that is being used, like especially for the Arab countries, they like to use pomegranate as a type of vinegar, um, uh, and it's always balanced flavor with the spices and all these things. Yeah.
Right, so like in my opinion, vinegar is quite sweet. They have like some tartness in it. But how do you think like people in Malaysia can be like more open to using fruits into their salads? Like right now, I see people who use cabbages, they use Roman lettuce as their like basic products. How do you think they could implement all of that fruits into our salads?
Well, our salads in Malaysia itself, it's always been there. It's either us realizing it or not, but uh, going back through even for basic sambal belacan, it's always have this sweetness, sourness, and the bitterness inside. So it's a part of dressing, you know. Even as simple as sambal belacan, you know, you can re uh, redevelop the sambal to become a dressing into your salads or something like this.
I mean, it's quite interesting because, like, as far as I know at least, sambal belacan has
Mhm.
been something that we eat with rice, but then, like, thinking to implement it into our salad dressing would be an interesting step in the salad, like, innovation in Malaysia, I'd say.
Of course, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, like most of our salads, like we are not incorporating vinegar as much as the Western countries are
Mm.
doing. What we incorporate more is like using lime, calamansi to have this sourness to our salads, and plus, of course, some sugar. um, Most of the dressing that the on the Western countries, they like to do 3-to-1 ratio, which is the oil and the vinegar. Um, we don't put as much oil as we are doing our salad, but
Mm-hmm.
our salad is much more fresh.
Mm.
We introduce fresh uh, uh, ingredients like I said just now, lime to get this sourness, and you balance it with some salt and some sugar, and it is.
Do you think like the freshness of vegetables in Egypt or like in the Arab countries are more fresh per se compared to Malaysia? As like, you know, in Malaysia, we could get our fresh vegetables like salads and stuff from Cameron Highlands or like Sabah, right?
Mhm.
But then like
Yeah.
maybe is it more like easier to access in the Arab countries, you say?
Well, yes. Right now, like we are working very closely with a lot of our agricultural side of the industry. So we work a lot with farmers. We work a lot with those people who grew vegetable organically
Mm.
and try to reduce the usage of going to use like product like in supermarket and stuff like this. So most of our products that we use are based on locally sourced.
Mm.
We work with a lot of our local produce that is providing us the salads and the fresh vegetables and all this.
In your personal opinion, do you think there is a difference between like organic vegetables and supermarket bought vegetables?
A lot, to be honest. Flavor wise, I mean, supermarket vegetables, since you have to produce in bulk, there's a lot of pesticide involved. There's a lot of chemicals involved. Um, there's a lot of unorganically substance that being used to produce such a mass production. Whereas organically, like you have to wait. So
Right.
the time duration that you have to wait for something to be produced organically, it's time consumed. But you develop the flavors or the taste of the produce much more better than the supermarket bought
Right,
vegetables.
right. So like even when it takes a really long time to produce it, the time taken produces such a strong flavor in the vegetables itself, right?
Exactly,
Right,
exactly,
right. Makes much
exactly.
sense. Okay, so
Sure.
moving on to our second question, how do you think different cultures and cuisines has an impact on the influence on recipes and ingredients?
It's it's every cultures try to bring up with their own um, uh, signatures or with their own things that they want to showcase based on the culture wise. So like I said in the beginning, they're using their own spices, they're using their own source of ingredients, Like in Latin America, you use a lot of corianders and stuff like this. Whereas we are in Asia, we use a lot of onions, spring onions, and all these greens.
Very
So
true.
it's always affects on the culture's side.
Right, so like I've heard many people who travel to the Arab countries, like they are people from all over the world to like visit Egypt, visit Dubai, visit UAE. So do you think
Mhm.
their cultures have like implemented different and influenced different flavors to the Arab countries, or like Arab countries has their own strong flavors that they don't really budge into their influence?
Well, to be honest, they're not as salad wise. It's not something that they are strong with. What they're strong with in the Middle Eastern culture is they call it the mezza. So the
Yes.
mezza for them, yeah, it's a salad like you have baba ganoush, you have mutabal, you have hummus, and all this as a part of dipping for the salads, or dipping for their uh, uh, as a side dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so again, going back to the culture wise, so this is what makes it different. People come to the Middle Eastern country to try this type of food.
Yeah, definitely. They're known for like their side dishes, like not really side dishes, but they're very strong flavors and like textures in their salads, I'd say. They are nuts, they are like sour implementation, sweet
Yeah,
implementation.
true, true. We are using a lot of like for the salads for Middle Eastern salads. We use a lot of sumac.
Mm.
We use a lot of molasses, which is pomegranate. Um, we use a lot of vinegars for sure. Uh, but mainly pomegranate is one of the main ingredients that they use in the salads.
Personally, I've never really had any experience in cooking with sumac. Can you like elaborate more on how sumac tastes like, or how do you think a perfect dish would like complement the sumac herb?
Well, the sumac, it's a spices that has a bit of sourness plus sweetness into it. So um, when you sprinkle on top of a salad, it gives you the tartiness, the sweetness from the spices. So it enhances the salad. It enhances your taste wise to be eating the salad.
Understood. So like because of
Yeah,
the like tartness and stuff, it actually
yeah,
opens up your palate on the next course you're gonna have, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. In your opinion, what are the health benefits associated with incorporating salads into a balanced diet? Of course, that now you're as a culinary director, you in you have to um, plan menus. How do you plan around that to encourage consumers to buy salad to implement that balanced diet?
Well, true. When we are planning for our menu, it's always based on the cuisine that we are doing. We want to not going too far from each cuisine. When we introduce a salad, we don't want to go too far from this cuisine. So, saying that, um, uh, we based on the cuisine that the first thing we want to do is based on the cuisine that we have in mind, and we blend it with textures, flavors, um, uh, and also colors from each different vegetables, and all this stuff.
Makes sense, makes sense. So let's say I were to open up American Latin restaurant, what are the flavors you recommend like implementing into my salads?
Avocados for sure. Avocados, lime,
Right.
tomatoes, coriander is a must. So these are the basic flavors that Latin American that they play with.
Right, right, right. Makes sense because they go around like freshness, they go around like sourness, I'd say. Especially like coriander
Yes.
leaves have this like fresh, um, fresh mouthfeel when you eat it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. True. True. And avocados will give you antioxidants,
True.
uh, vitamins, and all this.
So like, do you know how we could encourage, especially Malaysians, like Malaysians is one of the countries that have the highest obesity rate in Malaysia. How do you encourage people who are like against eating salads? Like I have students here that do not want to eat salads cause, like vegetables. They're like, oh, I'm against vegetables. How do you encourage that from such a young age so they're open to like ordering salads, open to eating vegetables when they're older?
Well, I think it has to do with how we play with um, the flavors again. Like we could do something much more interesting, like things which they would not expect
Mm.
to have. Like we said in the earlier on our conversation, like we said, we could introduce sambal belacan as a salad dressing, or we could introduce karisik
Mm.
as the base of the salad dressing. So once you have all these elements uh, that we always have growing up, this can contribute to the people to have to try the newer version of salads and
It
the
makes
newer
sense. Like
version of
like familiarity would
for
like
me.
help them
Exactly,
encourage to try salads,
exactly,
right? Yes, that makes
exactly,
much sense.
exactly. Yeah,
So, do you think the importance of freshness and variety of ingredients impacts the overall salad dishes?
definitely,
Mm.
definitely, 100%, 100%. For a salad dish, it has to be fresh. Number one, uh, and for me personally, we love to use locally source produce
Mm-hmm.
because it's more impact on the flavors itself. So yeah, freshness is the number one key to making this a good salad.
So, other than like pomegranate, do you have any other like vegetables that like Middle Eastern is like proud of locally sourcing?
Um, Grapes. We They use a lot of uh, grapes element in their dishes. We have also grape vinegar
Mm.
uh, that they made, and they use the grape leaf, fermented grape leaf to wrap a raw rice inside and steam it, and it's called the wara enap,
Mm-hmm.
which is grape leaf wrap and rice, and you can flavor it.
I
So that's
see.
one of
Do you have do you
nice.
know how like the um the making of grape vinegar is like any fruit vinegar? How do you know how they make it?
Well, well, number one is time consuming, of course,
Mm.
um, but making it's through fermentation. Uh, I could give you the recipe for sure, but
Oh my god, yes, yes,
but,
please. I'm sure I can
but
implement it
yeah,
into my dishes too.
of course, of course. I mean, the longer you ferment something to release its own potential to become it more acidic, but it has to be controlled,
Right.
because fermenting. grapes could turn into wines.
Yeah, right, right.
So
For sure.
wines, how they ferment wine is to stop the fermentation from being to vinegar, and in between the lines of having wine and having the vinegar.
Right. So like do you think like fermenting like grapes and anything that to make vinegar, is it kitchen scale? Can I make it like at home, or can I make it, in the university kitchens? Is that possible? Mm.
It is possible. It is doable. When you have the right equipments and tools,
Mm-hmm.
you can do it. You can do it
Right.
even at home.
Oh,
You know, yeah.
interesting. Also, you mentioned something about fermented grape leaves. What's that? I've never heard of that.
Fermented grape leaf is it's something that Middle Eastern always have in probably in the household, which the grape leaf they just marinate it in salt and keep it for a long time. The closest dishes that we have is probably um, in in Sabah we have this wild mango, or we call it the bambangan,
Wild
where we
mango.
ferment wild mango. Yeah,
Right.
it's hard shell mango, which is very exotic. You can only find in the Borneo side.
Mm-hmm.
So you marinate it with salt and keep it at room temperature for a couple of days until it become until you reach the sourness. So that's how they do the vine leaf as well.
Mm-hmm.
They marinate it with salt and keep it at the room temperature, and when it's reached to the sourness that they like, and that's where they remove it and start to use.
Right. So do people eat like grape leaves as it is, or they have to ferment it for it to be like edible?
It has to be fermented. I mean, grape leaf. There's a variety of things that you can do with grape leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can use the grape leaf to wrap your fish and
Mm.
steam it to have those flavors, or you can quickly blanch the leaves like we do here. We quickly blanch the leaf, we dry it, and we mix with oil, blend it to get the grape leaves
Oil.
oil. Yeah.
Right. Does it taste like similar to perilla, would you say, or not really?
There's a slight bitterness in it.
Mm.
Um, it depends on how you treat it.
Right, right, right. So can you
Yeah.
only like ferment grape leaves with salt, or is there anything else like maybe sugar, or not really?
No, because sugar can introduce the growth of the bacteria, so we try to avoid
Mm.
sugar. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we don't introduce the mold or the fungus during the fermentation.
Right. So um, like in the Middle Eastern countries, do you usually like ferment things in salt compared to sugar, right?
Yes, yes,
Right, right, right.
yes.
Makes sense. So moving on, how do you plan appropriate salads into the menu?
Well, the basic things you have to do is knowing the four flavors:
Four
sweetness,
flavors?
saltiness.
Oh, right.
Yeah, flavors. So you have sweetness, you have saltiness, sourness, and of course the bitterness. If you can balance all these four things properly, you can develop any salad menu that you want.
So of course you need like an expanded um, palate to know that. You need experience to know that. Like you've tried different dishes to know how to implement and like plan appropriate salads. Correct. So like, how do you think?
Mhm.
Do you have any like tips on students who are starting out to create their own dishes, so they know how to like balance out those four flavors?
Well, it goes through experience. I mean, these things, like, it's hard to be taught, to be honest. Um, you have to experience flavors. You have to try so many things. There's always trial and error. There's always mistake that you will encounter. But um, try as much as flavors as you can. Mix with different things. Go wild. Go weird things. With 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 this with this weird combination, or keeping the ratio of the dressing or the flavors as a base, as your foundation, but go wild with your flavors. Try so many different vinegars, try with different oil, try with different seasoning. With all this experience, then you can enhance your palate, you can enhance your flavor wise, and from there on, then you know how to create your salad. Goes through by experience.
Correct. I totally agree. Like, I think you should always taste everything. Like, there are
Of
a
course.
variety of spices in our kitchen, as you know, since you're an alumni here, right? So, I've always
Hmm.
asked my students to try all of their herbs, but they're also scared to try them because they're not cooked. But they're basically like
Okay.
dried, and you can basically eat it without having like stomach aches. So I think like it's important to taste even though you have no experience in those like fields, correct?
Correct. 100%. 100%. Um, Tasting is number one key. You cannot send anything without tasting, because we have experience before. Like, there's a chef that's saying, "No, I don't taste my food. I know my seasoning is correct," which is wrong.
Right, right,
Because you cannot send something which you're not sure of.
right,
You have to taste everything. As a chef, we have to taste everything.
right. I agree. So because we're feeding people, so of course we need to like
Exactly.
taste our own food, and we have to make other people taste our food because we might like it but other
Of course.
people might not.
Exactly. So, yeah, a good point. I mean, there are things that you might like it, other people don't like it. So try to balance your flavors, like not going too far to your liking, and
Mm-hmm.
not going too less to your not liking. So I think the middle part, if you can reach the middle part of your palate or your flavor, uh, this could be accept 95% of your audience or your customers.
That's a really good percentage, I'd say.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So how do you attract customers in order to give salads an eye-appealing view?
It's always color wise,
Color.
presentation. Yeah, colors, presentation. Um, when you present something, it needs to be neat, it needs to be clean, it needs to be presented in a way that, um, not necessarily uh, to be symmetrically aligned, but it needs to be in a flow where people can see your colors, people can see the blends of different cuttings, the blend of different textures, how you mix it all together and how you present it. This can be eye appealing.
Right. Do you think like different cuttings of vegetables would give a different flavor to a vegetable?
Not necessarily. Um, there are some vegetables that you cannot consume in the big pieces.
Mm.
Of course, like I would say, like radishes,
Mm.
because it has this a bit of the bitterness level of radishes can be overwhelmed sometimes, but it can be nice in to incorporate when your dishes have a lot of sweetness, have a lot of sourness in it. So when you introduce a slice radishes in your salad, it gives you the bitterness taste. So it can neutralize the flavors when you uh, blend it all together when you're eating a spoon of salad or a fork of salad. Combining all these flavors, it could balance the flavors inside.
I totally agree. Like, I love carrot personally, but like, if you were to cut carrots in like huge chunks into a salad, I
Mhm.
think it'll be quite overwhelming of like the raw
Exactly,
flavors, right? Yeah, so I totally
exactly,
get it.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any predictions on the potential future innovations in salad making techniques and ingredients?
It's limitless. It's limitless. As long as we going wild with our imagination, with our creativity, innovation in the future, it's endless,
Mm,
endless. You can see like every day people start inventing new dressing, people start inventing new salads, people start inventing. There's limitless, limitless.
right.
So it depends on how you want to explore your flavors.
Mm.
Depends on how wild you want to go um, with your creativity. Uh, like I said, it's limitless.
Limitless, right, correct. So what do you think your most exotic dressings have ever like you've ever made?
Well, I like to incorporate truffle in my
Mm,
dressing because it has this distinct flavor, which is quite different, and it's elevate the flavors into to more luxurious feel kind of flavors, you know, because truffle is something um, which cannot be found everywhere, and it's a bit expensive.
right.
So incorporating truffle in the dressing, like uh, uh, one of the restaurant that we have here, we incorporate ponzu dressing with truffle to elevate the ponzu to a different level.
Right. So like ponzu is similar to yuzu, right? Or is it not?
Yes, yeah, ponzu is a mixture of citrus and soy sauce,
Mm.
and oil.
So like you mentioned truffle being luxury and so on, but there are some like people who can't consume truffle. You know how to me, truffle is a
Mhm.
little like overwhelming. So I prefer not to have truffle. But do you have any other suggestions on luxury herbs to incorporate into like salad dressings?
Well, there's a lot. Like you can introduce like probably seashore leaves into your dressing. Um, we use a lot of these micro herbs. Micro herbs. It's almost a superfood where it's small, but it gives you a good impact. So when you blend in or when you chop it and mix it with your dressing, it gives you like the flavor. It enhances more than the normal herbs.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you think those like micro herbs help a lot in like flavor wise compared to um, the naturally big herbs like coriander? There are mini corianders and like the bigger corianders.
Yeah.
What do you think of the
Well,
flavor?
flavor wise, yeah, but I mean, we like to use the microgreens into our salad because you don't want also to overwhelm the flavors with big chunks of herbs. So using microgreens, it reduces the element of uh, busting flavors, but it gives you a nice enhanced flavors to your salad. For example, like we use a lot of micro coriander in our salads, not only for the textures, not only for for the look itself,
Mm-hmm.
but also it gives you the uh, coriander taste
Right.
um, quite strong when it's a small
It's just a
bits.
small bit. Right, right, right. I feel like the microgreens have been like quite famous this past few years. Is it true, or has it been like
Mhm.
famous for a really long time already?
Well, it has been there for quite some times, but um, recently, like people are growing like everything into micros
Mm.
because when going into a fine dining restaurant where you have 12 courses menu or 14 courses menu, it's a long journey of menu where you have to use like small bits and pieces of the herbs. So using microgreens helps a lot um, to not only make it as a nice garnish on your dishes, but also it gives you a nice flavor on your dishes.
I agree. I feel like it's a very cute addition to our dishes because it's small and it's
Exactly.
fresh. So it looks really nice on the plate. Right.
True. True. True.
So how have different cultures around the world incorporated salads into their traditional cuisines, do you think?
Um, uh, Different cultures have different type of salad. Like the Middle Eastern, um, the salad can be like they use only herbs as the salad. For example, we have this tabbouleh.
Mm-hmm.
Tabbouleh salad is made from parsley. You
Right.
know, so the main ingredient, 90% of the salad is made from parsley.
Right.
Uh, or they have a simple salad which uh, you have some cucumbers, tomatoes, and onions, and it's just a simple salad, but you know they're very famous with this. Yeah,
I agree. I feel like those simple ingredients create such a strong flavor in the
yeah,
salad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Right.
it needs to be fresh. It
It
needs to
needs to
be
be fresh.
fresh.
Right, right, right. That's
Yeah.
important. I agree. Do you think that the globalization of food influence in the adaptation and popularity of salads in different regions?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Okay, how has the globalization of food influence has an adaptation and popularity of salads in different regions? So there are different regions in the Middle Eastern, right? So how do you think they come into like a conclusion where they can influence each other?
Um, well, it goes way back to the ancient time, I think, where all the spices introduced in each region, um, they how they globalize the the dishes to become a culture is how the ancient time they're using this type of spices to incorporate in their food. So they are well known into this.
Right. So we actually have some questions from the audience. So let me just read one from Rizwan Rahman. So someone asked, "What's
Okay.
your favorite salad ingredients and why, Chef Irfan?"
Well, my favorite salad ingredients: coriander, spring onions, um, and my me personally, I love things to be a bit more spicy,
Right.
so I love to incorporate a bit of chili. Um, the best dishes that we made, it's a lot. There's tons of dishes, but I always play around with ingredients like this. I love to use Asian flavors to incorporate in my salads.
How do you think the Middle Eastern like consumers have adapted to
Mhm.
the flavors you implemented into their menus?
Well, it's flavor wise, you have to gradually add all this twist or the Asian influence uh, bit by bit, you know. So you have to use like 90% most of the time uh, their cultures or their flavors, so to say, and get this like 10% of uh, fusion or twist or uh, 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 flavors introduction, which is different than what they have. So gradually, they would understand like if you mix their culture with our culture, for example, they would understand like okay, these flavors is nice, and we can gradually increase the percentage of this culture to become like even 50-50 in the salad.
Mm.
You know, so it's 50% Middle Eastern and 50% Asian twist, for example.
So, do you think like the Arab countries or like the consumers over there have like accepted fusion with like Arab and Malaysia, like Asian cuisines fusion quite well?
Yeah, yeah, it has evolved throughout the time. I mean, especially like growing countries like UAE uh, and even Saudi Arabia now. They're growing uh, very rapidly in their F&B businesses. So people adapting more flavors, people being more open to try new things and to be accepting different cultures or different cuisine into their countries. So, like in Dubai, throughout my experience, um, it's a blend of cultures, and right now, people are more accepting to be eating. Like even you can see the Arabs, they are not eating sushi before. I would say like 10 years ago, it would be weird for them to be eating raw fish and dishes like this. But now people are more open to try new things. You can see a lot of the Middle Eastern people are loving the idea of eating raw, fresh fish, um, and eating like Japanese. You know, they they want to learn the cultures. So
Right.
so yeah,
That's really good.
trying all
So,
this new.
can you like implement raw fish into your salads now, like compared to like maybe 10 years ago?
You could, yeah, you could, but I mean, there's always a danger zone that you have to be taken care of. You know,
Right.
when serving raw food, it needs to be in the right temperature. It
Right.
needs to be fresh, not to be stored like longer than 24 hours. To say so, like our the salad that we have. If we are using sashimi and raw fish like this, it needs to be like within 24 hours
Right.
from the sea to the plate.
So, do you like
Cannot be.
get quite fresh fish in the Middle Eastern or not really?
Well, we are very fortunate. Like here in the Red Sea, we have tons of fresh seafood, so we could always have the throughout the year. We can always have fresh fish.
That's really good.
Every yeah,
Every
yeah.
day of the year. Great. So, there's another question from the audience. His name is Pierre Maro. So he said, first of all, Happy New Year, Chef. May I know what do you think about the Mediterranean diet?
Mediterranean diet. What I love about Mediterranean diet is they're very simple. Um, Mediterranean uses a lot of simple ingredients such as olives. They use quite a lot of tomato, cucumbers in their dishes as well. Of course, cheeses like feta cheese, halloumis, uh, in in their diet. Mediterranean diet for me, uh, it's the most healthy diet to say because they use a lot of fresh ingredients and it's fresh.
It's fresh. So can you get like fresh halloumi cheeses, like feta cheese, like anywhere on the streets of like Middle East countries?
Um, well, not necessarily fresh, but we can get authentic cheeses from Greece because, like in Middle Eastern or Egypt, to say with Greece, it's not that far.
Mm.
So, uh,
So like the transportation's not too
yeah,
far for it to go bad.
exactly,
Right,
exactly.
right, right. Makes a lot of sense. So another question from the audience, someone Lina AMC says, Chef Irfan, have you ever introduced Malaysian type of ulam ulam as salad option in Cairo?
We haven't done that to be honest, but we did when we have outside caterings for embassies, such as the Asian embassies, Singapore, something we could introduce ulam
Mm-hmm.
uh, into one of the courses, and yeah,
So the ingredients
but
that we
it's
usually use can be found there, right?
yeah. Well, we use as much as we can. Of course, we cannot have like uh, whatever we have in Malaysia,
Mm-hmm.
but we use like the long beans. We use some fresh cabbages. We try to use the morning glory, or we call it kangkong, to
Sorry?
be blanched a bit. Kangkong,
Kangkong, right.
yeah, morning glory. Yeah.
Morning glory, right. Okay, so Izatul Zafarina asked, Hi chef, can you suggest a good salad dressing for those who are trying to lose weight? Thank you.
A good salad dressing. Good salad dressing for me. Always go back to the basic. Going, I mean, use a good source of olive oil or grapeseed oil, which has low cholesterol in it, and balance it with vinegar uh, and to flavor it with different herb as you like. But yeah, go for it. I think eating salad and reducing your carbs into your diet can be a great success if you want to reduce the weight.
I think yeah, like a lot of people misconcept salad dressings with like Thousand Island, Caesar dressing. So it's more like a mayo based. So I feel like
Mhm.
people who want to lose weight could like opt for vinaigrette, like vinegar based salad
The
dressings,
base,
correct?
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, try to avoid more
Right.
like creamy dressing into your dishes. It's not that you cannot have it, you could, but try to reduce it a bit.
Right. So what are your thoughts on like salad dressings made out of tofu? Have you heard of like silken tofu salad dressing?
Oh yes, 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 yes. Well, it acts like mayonnaise base when you
Mm.
blend it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's also great for consumers who doesn't consume eggs. For people who have eggs allergy, we do have a dressing which is what we call this the eggless mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
Eggless mayonnaise is we made the mayonnaise using soy base. It's either you use the silken tofu or you can use just unflavored soy milk
Right.
uh, with oil and vinegar. You can create um, mayonnaise with the right ratio. You can create mayonnaise with this base.
Right. So, have you heard of aquafaba?
Aquafaba is a water from chickpeas.
Yes, yes, correct. So, like, have you ever made like a salad dressing from aquafaba itself?
We do, yes, we do. Uh, when we have like someone who's allergic to eggs, and we want to have like a foam uh, to put on our food, we use aquafaba water because it contains a lot of proteins.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the idea of like using egg whites.
Right.
So yeah.
What are your thoughts on like the aftertaste of aquafaba water?
Uh, Personally, I like it.
Oh, right.
It can be, yeah, it can be a bit probably overwhelmed, but not so much because it's it's a chickpea water, so
True,
it's
true. It's just chickpea water, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Muhammad Safwan Abdul Latif asked, from a business perspective, what strategies or insights can you share on effectively integrating local seasonal ingredients into salad making, considering the challenges and opportunities that arise?
Um, can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
Right. So from a business perspective, like what
Mhm.
strategies or insights can you share on effectively integrating local season ingredients into salad making?
Well, number one, of course, when you try to market something business wise, it's always people are always looking something that is sourced locally. Um, what we're trying to do here um, to make everyone aware um, that we are supporting local is we introduce sustainable food. Sustainable food is that food um, that is being sourced locally and not being transported uh, using a lot of transportation. So it needs to be from the farm directly to the restaurants, and this could be the main um, idea or the main uh, points to say like when you are developing something that you are helping your local producers um, uh, uh, you can say it's fresh, it's locally sourced, and it's cheaper to buy from the supermarket.
How do you consider like cost as part of this whole process? Do you think it's pretty high?
To be growing locally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Growing locally and like sourcing from that local source.
No, 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 no. It's far more cheaper
Mm-hmm.
than importing, of course.
Mm-hmm.
but the shorter the distance between you and your local producers, the lower your cost, uh, the lower you can reduce your cost.
Right. So, do you have any challenges in this whole process? You say, would you say?
Not that much, to be honest. It's all about having the right producer, trusted producers that can produce. So we always work on two, three different producers. So, for example, like if he could not produce, one of the supplier could not produce a carrot, for example, at a certain time, we can always go to a different producers to get the salad.
So, considering that, are you saying there's like an abundance of farmers in the Middle East, where you're at?
There's a lot. There's a lot.
All
Yeah,
right.
and yeah, there's a lot. So our suppliers, the nearest to our suppliers is just like 10 kilometers away, and some of the producers are inside El Guna itself. Some of our salad producers. Um, so it's not that far. Transporting to our restaurant directly, so we get when they collect it fresh from the ground and directly to the restaurant. So
That's great.
we are using it freshly, so we don't store it too long in the fridge.
Right, right.
Uh, on a business perspective, we are using less fridges, and you know it's already fresh, so we can put directly on the plate.
Correct. Would you say like the turnover for your salads in your restaurants are quite high?
Nowadays, yes, people are more aware on the health issues and dietary requirement. So people are more aware on this. So we try to make it our salad to be more um, appealing, to be
Mm-hmm.
more tasty for people who wants to have a balanced diet, to have health conscious more.
Right. Makes sense. Of course, like we're going to a new year. Hopefully, everyone's having a healthy and like hearty new year with jogging, exercising,
Exactly.
better
Exercising.
meal preparation. So, hopefully, they're incorporating more vegetables in their diet. Right. So,
That's
another
what we hope
question.
for the year.
Sorry?
That's what we hope for this year.
Right, right. So Hanis Fikri asked, I do have a thought. The preference of consuming salad is likely more exposed to the elite society, which does not cater to all levels of society. Is there any interesting way to attract all community to eat salad? Because in order to raise the salad bar, we need to increase the demand of eating salad.
Well, it's salad eating. It's not only for the elites, but it's for everyone.
Right.
As long as you like in Malaysia, we cannot say like the ulam. It's only for the elites, but we eat it for all levels of people. So saying this, like probably salad can be a bit more overwhelmed to our Malaysian, because when we say salad, we always think of it's Western based idea of eating salad, but as Malaysian, we've been eating salad our whole life.
Correct.
Our always bring this ulam into. I mean, all the restaurants in Malaysia we have ulam. So ulam is a type of salad. So those are the things that we are not aware of, but we have been eating for our entire life.
I totally agree. Like some people, they are quite intimidated by the word salad. They would think like, oh, salad is
Exactly.
always something that is with a sauce or anything. But little did we know, we're
Too
actually eating
westernized.
salads almost
Yeah.
every day. Like
True.
ulams, yeah, ulams are like
Yeah.
the most basic example we have out there.
Yeah. Even for a basic things like tomatoes and cucumbers, with some salt and a dash of lime juice. I mean,
A
that
salad.
could be a great salad as well. No,
Yeah,
so
I
simple
agree.
things.
So, another question from Pure Maro. Dear chef, have you ever tried lab grown food? Cultivated meat, lab tomatoes, lab cheese. If you have tried, what do you think of this novel food?
Lab growing food, which is something I'm not against it, to be honest. It's something that is new innovation. But to be honest, it's not. I haven't tried it personally,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I having some thought about this.
Right. So,
Still,
in Malaysia right now, maybe in Kuala Lumpur or like the busy states, we are having a lot of lab-grown vegetables. We have, I'm not really sure what's it called, but they usually grow lettuces in-house. Is
are
it
the
like
green
quite,
ones
yeah, similar to a greenhouse,
like?
but it's
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah,
r-
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, uh, well, a lab grown. Sorry, I mistaken the whole concept or the
right, right,
idea of
right.
this. Um, I was more like thinking of something um, uh, uh,
Scientific.
genetically
Ah,
modified.
right,
Yeah,
right, right, right.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, growing like salads in the lab or in a greenhouse, or using hydroponic, it always has a different flavors.
Mm,
Flavors, I find it a bit more subtle
okay.
or a bit more less compared to growing on a good soil, or using like there's a close friend of mine having a aquaponic farm, which he uses. Uh, he grow a fish in a fish tank, so the fish we fed the fish with the good nutrients, so the fish waste it goes. It contains a lot of nutrient, the
Right.
fish waste. So it's filter water, and it goes to the bed of the salad. So the
Mm-hmm.
salad grows on the water itself, and it took up all the nutrients from the fish waste, and it supplies oxygen to the water, so the water will go back to the fish, so the
Right.
fish could have oxygen from the salad. So it goes around like this.
Right.
So with this, the flavor of the salad itself, it's far more interesting, and it's far more flavorful, and compared to just using normal water.
It sounds quite expensive, in my opinion. Do you? Is it actually?
Expensive in terms of water, but again, you're not introducing more water. For example, if you use a ton of water, or it will be in a rotation.
Right.
You don't have to change the water all the time,
Right.
because
Right.
the fish. What we usually do is that he take all the after we cut all the vegetables, or after we cut all the salads and like this, and we remove part of the salad, and the waste of the salad we feed it back to the
To the
fish.
fishes.
So the
Oh,
fish will
right.
eat, yeah, so the fish will eat the salads, and the fish will will have it waste, and the waste will be filtered, and all the nutrient will go back to the salad, and the salad will contribute the oxygens,
Mm-hmm.
and it go back to the fish. So, which is a pretty interesting idea, and I love it so much.
Do you think that they could make it into a large scale? Or else, like, the turnover would be
Yes.
quite low, right?
Yeah. What my friend did was he started small, and now he has around 6 or 7 greenhouses
Hmm.
that produces this, and
Right,
it's
right,
a
right.
huge tank.
What vegetables does he cultivate, if you don't mind me asking?
He grew a lot of vegetables, like kale, lolo rosso, green rosso, uh, um, also arugula, uh, and even his microgreens. He grow it
Mm.
on this vegetables such as baby carrots, fennel, um, uh, the cabbages, and all these things. He grow it on the land, on the soil, but the soil is is being um, is being organically uh, how we say composed by all these nature composed, and he grew it. So
Right.
it's a
Makes a
whole
lot of sense. It's like a whole
yeah,
circle of like it's a whole cycle,
exactly.
I would say. Right, right.
It's a whole cycle. Yeah.
So Nurul Athira Muhammad Nazri asked, I wonder, is there any mistake in making salad that is usually made but not pointed out or not realized, and hence it has become a norm. Is there such a case now?
Well, we learn through our mistake, of course.
Right.
But again, uh, there's always trial and error. Um, it could be a mistake that is not realized and become normal to us now. But nowadays, like uh, when you do a mistake, it creates the opportunity for a new creativity. You know,
Right, right.
a new line of creativity. It opens up this opportunity to explore more things, you know, throughout this.
I totally agree. Sometimes we could make a mistake and it actually could end up being good, like a good outcome, and like it could
Exactly.
be
That's,
like a norm now. Maybe like the
yes.
potato salad was actually a mistake, but then it's now
True.
quite famous,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. True. True.
So, moving on, what role does salad culture play in promoting healthy eating benefits, eating habits, and culinary diversity?
It plays a lot of roles. It can be um, for the elites, and also it can be for the normal people, like people who have like we talked about before, like people who wants to have a balanced diet, or people who have like a certain dietary requirement where you don't have when you have certain allergies, or simply just because you want to have a healthy diet, you know. So salad is always a go-to dishes that you can always incorporate into your
To your
dietary.
diet, right? I think it's a really fun incorporation for me at least because it
It
like
is.
I
It
love
is.
like sourness in my food. So if I could
Mhm.
incorporate like vegetables and it's sour, I think it's such a good like opening to my other meal, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we said, our achar,
Achar,
for
right.
example. Yeah. yeah. There's a type of Malaysian salad as well. I mean, so it could be something that can be and um, your appetite opener,
Right, right,
you
right,
know,
right.
before you start the
Have you,
dishes.
speaking of appetite opener, I realized that there are like, sorbets that people usually put in between like um, a
Mm-hmm.
course meal, correct?
Course,
So,
yeah.
have you ever incorporated like maybe achar flavors into your sorbets, or like maybe you could think of
I
it now?
haven't, but that's yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good idea. Why
Right.
not? Why not? We always
You're
try
inspired by me
to get
then.
different. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, man.
So,
Achar sorbet, why not?
yeah. So, what are some unique and lesser known salad preparations or ingredients from from various cultures?
Um, well, it's always there's vast variety of um, which is probably weird to us, but it's a normal thing for other cultures. So it goes both ways. I mean, like for us, we always we have we use calamansi, for example, which is not known in the Middle East,
Right.
and using calamansi to make a dressing uh, salad uh, in the other side, in the other part of the world, can be something exotic or can be something weird for them, but it's normal for us. And likewise, like I said in the beginning, like if we are using truffle to make him to incorporate into our ulam. For
Right.
example, it's something which is weird for Malaysian, but it's something normal for the Western people, especially in France. People are eating truffle like almost every day. So
Correct. Correct. So, like, um, you mentioned calamansi. Is it not really easy to find calamansi over there?
no, no, they're
Oh.
using more normal lime. Uh, and calamansi is not something which is common. Even the lime leaves, something are not very common for them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but right now, when we start incorporating, like we said, some of these twists food, uh, people are being more acceptance. People are being more open-minded to be having all this.
Right, right, right. Thank you for these insights. So, like, one of the last few things I
Well,
would like to ask you to like share with us. Could you maybe share how you have started your journey from you were like a student all the way to how you are right now?
well, it's interesting because I always thought that um, uh, UITM always have good quality students because of the foundation of the teaching from all the lecturers. It's so good, but I would never imagine that I would go this far. But again, I mean, thanks to all the lecturers who have taught me before
Mm-hmm.
when I was in college. So, uh, I gained experience. My foundation is it's quite strong to start in the industry. So when I started um, my career in Malaysia before going to Dubai, I always um, have uh, incorporate my skills from what I've been taught by the lecturers. Um, to say a few, like some of the lecturers are still teaching or are still there
Yeah.
in UITM. So I would like to take this opportunity to say again, thank you very much. Thank you to all the lecturers that helping me so much during the study and helped me go to this far. You know.
I'm sure they're listening on this live. So
Thank you.
hopefully they'll say their welcomes in the comments. Right. So how do you think like you've been approached from going from one level, like I in your like presentation slide, you started off like going back to your home state in Sabah. You started off there, and then after that you gradually went like to Maldives, to other Arab countries. How do you think like that transition has been?
Well, work hard. Work hard. It takes a lot of. I don't want to be to say this, but it took a lot of sacrifice. You know, you'll be missing a lot of family events. You'll be missing a lot of gatherings. You'll be missing. You'll be losing a lot of friends. But working hard and stay focused on what you want to have, or what you want to achieve, uh, it takes a lot. It takes
Right.
a lot. Yeah.
A lot of like leaving your family behind and so on, right?
Leaving your family behind, leaving your friends. But in the meantime, I mean, throughout your journey, you'll be meeting a lot of different people and be learning different cultures. Like myself, I mean, I'm very fortunate to be traveling around and working and learning different cultures. Like when I was in Maldives, the cultures are different, and coming to Egypt, cultures uh, pretty much different from everywhere.
Right, right,
So
right.
learning good things make you like understand like how you deal with people, and uh, yeah, it
I'm sure moving from
influences
one
you.
state to another helps you like have a wide variation on like how people think, how people react and all, right?
And also it helps you to grow yourself personally, you know, seeing the good things, the bad things, and being able to analyze all these things. It helps to grow a lot as a person itself. Personally,
Mhm.
it grows your personality,
Mhm.
and as a chef, uh, it grows a lot of conscious, like you know, this culture is eating this kind of dietary, this that culture is eating that kind of dietary, and how do I incorporate like both cultures to be mixed in one dish. So this takes a lot of understanding, a lot of experience.
Right.
Uh,
So to wrap up, may I ask for
sure.
some motivational advice for our students as an alumni striving in the culinary industry, planning to work in the industry as well as working overseas?
Well, first thing first, always listen to your lecturers. Uh, always listen to your lecturers. They are the one who will shape you from your beginning. You know, it doesn't matter that you know a lot more than them, but trust your lecturers because they know um, things far more than you think that you know. The lecturer have a good foundation. They are a lecturer for a reason, and always work hard. Always work hard to towards your goal. And uh, like for myself, like I always like to work one position ahead from the current position that I have. For example, like if I'm a commie, to start with, I always work as a demi chef position, even I'm not. With this, when people think that you are ready for this position, when you got promoted, when you got uh, to this position, you are ready. You're always ready. And when you're a demi chef, you always have to work your position as a chef de partie and so on.
That's really interesting. I never
Uh,
thought of it that way.
yeah, it is. It is. I mean, based on my experience, this is how you grow faster. This is how you can be recognized more by working hard and also working passionately. You want to reach your goal. You set yourself. I want to become. You have a benchmark of yourself. Like you want to set, oh, I want to become, for example, even if you don't want to be working in the industry, but when you're a student, you said, one day I want to become a lecturer, like all these lecturer that I look up with, so you always have your goal, like, okay, I want to become a lecturer, so I work hard and I study hard for this to become a good lecturer, like yourself.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Thank you so much for your advice and your last words. Do you have any other things you'd like to say before we end the session?
Lastly, I would say thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, Mas. Thank you to Enche Arma Muhammad Faisal for this opportunity, inviting such a talk. This is always has been a dream for me to be giving back to the community, to be giving back to the new students. To be sharing the experience, to be sharing the knowledge, and inshallah one day, who knows, I could be coming down to back to UITM and to be sharing more knowledge.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be
Students.
great.
That would,
Thank you so much
that
for
would
your
be great.
time.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting.
No worries. Thank you to all the viewers as well. Please do not forget to fill out our webinar attendance today and get an e-certificate of participation. Stay safe and stay healthy, everybody. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you.